Kia ora, New Zealand. In your bulletin today, all miners are accounted for after a fire broke out at Newmont Gold's underground Trio mine in Waihi this morning. 28 miners were trapped in a series of underground refuge chambers, and the mining company has said it will be investigating the cause of the fire. The mine's General Operations Manager, Glenn Grinley, says one miner has been treated for smoke inhalation, but otherwise they're all well. Mr. Grinley says they don't know what triggered the fire, but that it started in an engine of an underground truck. And former Rugby World Cup boss Martin Snedden has had a good look around his new role in the tourism industry. He says there are issues that need to be addressed. He's now the CEO of the Tourism Industry Association, and Martin Snedden says the industry has to adapt to the fact that the good old days are not coming back.
There are a lot of small operators. It isn't easy for them to see the bigger picture. But in the end, the reality is that if they want to survive, if they want to prosper, then they have to make the effort to understand what the future holds for them and holds for the industry and holds for the country.
An injured father and daughter have been airlifted out of the Tararua Ranges this morning. The pair had spent 3 nights in a hut after bad weather prevented rescuers reaching them. They ran into trouble during a tramp on Saturday where the 50-year-old suffered a knee injury and his 16-year-old daughter hurt her toe. And Auckland University students will have a chance to debate and vote on whether an anti-abortion group should be allowed to stay on campus. Pro-Life Auckland could lose its club status at the university after a complaint from one anonymous student about pamphlets it handed out on the medical risks of abortion. Auckland University Students Association President Arena Williams says the complaint wasn't just about the information in the pamphlets.
Part of the discussion will be about the tactics used in distributing their information, because it was part of the complaint that came to the executive in oral form was about the tactics they used. So I'm looking forward to getting a bit more of that information out there, because I think that's been lost in the lead up to this meeting about how they're actually distributing that information.
Owen Glenn is calling New Zealand's high rate of domestic violence and child abuse a national embarrassment. The multi-millionaire businessman says the cost to the New Zealand economy is the equivalent of rebuilding Christchurch every 4 years forever. He's decided to put $8 million into combating the problem in Otara with a possible rollout nationwide. And the government has upped the ante when it comes to the Māori Council fighting a claim before the Waitangi Tribunal for the ownership of water. The Prime Minister says they're being opportunistic and didn't bother to lay claims when other energy companies like Contact was sold. Minister of Finance Bill English says the council doesn't represent the iwi the government is talking to, who don't want ownership of water.
The Maori Council doesn't have any particular right or interest around any lake or river. We're not in discussions with them about any particular claim because they don't have any particular claim.
And landlords who take advantage of vulnerable people are being told to shape up by the government. Labour MP Annette King has raised concerns about the accommodation supplement, saying landlords are pocketing a $1.2 billion subsidy despite providing substandard accommodation. Social Development Minister Paula Bennett says it's not really the fault of the supplement, but of the landlords who hike up the rents. She has a case in her own Waitakere electorate.
A caravan park that has absolutely what I would consider substandard housing, and I think it is well overpriced. They insist that the rents are paid directly by work and income for them to get housing.
And a deep earthquake in the Bay of Plenty has been felt in the Wellington region. GNS says the quake at 1:35 p.m. had a magnitude of 5.6 and a focal depth of 290 kilometres. And something different today for Auckland commuters rounding Tip Top Corner. Fonterra has finished its 2-year modernisation of the ice cream factory and is lighting it up for the first time. The extensive renovations cost $40 million and was opened by Rachel Hunter. That's all from me. Ka kite anō.